Greetings, Taco Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you all yet again another Da Vinci's Demons episode review right here on Otaku Assemble Weekly. And as always, here to bring you the latest in this week's Da Vinci's Demons episode review. And this is my review of both Season 2, Episode 2 entitled The Blood of Brothers, as well as Season 2, Episode 3 entitled The Voyage of the Damned. Now, first, I'm going to pretty much give my overall thoughts on episode 2. I didn't have much to say about the second episode, and that's pretty much because I was fairly disappointed with it. I thought that the premiere, the first episode of the season, started things off on such a high note that when episode 2, with some of the conflicts, the way they were resolved, I thought came across as too easy or too simple. Not much difficulty in the resolution, and so it was a bit of a letdown. I think overall it might have just been the result of my expectations being a bit too high, and I can't help that. I mean, the first season was so well done that, you know, for the second season, yeah, there is a certain benchmark, you know. There are certain things I expect from the series at this point, and I just felt like the second episode didn't deliver in that regard. I mean, just think about it. Let's see, Leo was able to quell Lorenzo's fury with one quick explanation. Took less than 30 seconds for Lorenzo to no longer be a threat to Leo. They were able to make it back to the Medici estate with one speech. Now, granted, the way in which it was executed, I thought was ingenious. You know, Leo placing, you know, arranging the brass and whatnot throughout the courtyard so that everyone could hear Lorenzo's speech. But one speech, and that was it. The mob completely turned against the Patsies, and the day was won. Also, I mean, even with Riario, you know, Riario had all of Leo's artifacts, you know, for his quest for the Book of Leaves, and with the key that the Abyssinian had, Riario just so happened to have an Abyssinian servant who could read the keys and let Riario know, oh yeah, this is latitude and longitude. Yeah, everything just felt too easy in episode 2. You know, with one conversation, Sixtus was able to form an alliance with Naples. One visit. Not much diplomacy there. They were one conversation, and that's it. Now Naples is backing up Rome against Florence. Do you see the point I'm trying to make? Yeah, I just felt like it was too easy. I don't really know if I can explain it any better than that. The only real difficulty I think that was presented in the entire episode was the fact that once Leo found out that Riario, you know, took the basilisk and whatnot, and he was trying to figure out how he was going to get passage to another ship, when we get introduced to the new character who I'm just going to call Vets. I'm just going to nickname him that because first off, I can't remember what his name is, and second off, I couldn't even pronounce it. So I'm just going to say Vets. When we got introduced to that character, he immediately told Leo, it's like, well, there's no ships that we can board going in that direction, so what we'll have to do is take one of Rome's ships, commandeer that. And then that was our cliffhanger at the end of episode 2. So that, I mean, that was the only real difficulty that came into play. Everything else was just resolved with the flick of a pen, if you will. So yeah, overall, I didn't care for the second episode. Now, I will say the third episode was a bit of an improvement, but even still, not as much. Now, bear with me. The third episode, although I did enjoy it, I'm not feeling it. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a change in directors or a change in writers or what exactly is going on in terms of the production for this season, but episodes 2 and 3, they do feel different. The pacing of the episode's different. The dialogue is different. Everything is sped up. Quick, 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 quick. It's not taking its time to really develop things. Develop some things. Because some things I thought in episode 3 were done really well. For an example, the subplot, the little story arc that we got with Cardinal Lupo and Lucrezia, and him discovering that Sixtus is actually an imposter and that his brother is the real Pope. That I thought was set up very well, despite the fact that the whole little story arc consists in only 4 scenes. I thought that was done well. It was paced properly. It was set up in the episode itself, the way where it was placed in the context of the episode, I thought was well done. The dialogue in those scenes I thought made sense, very intriguing, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that little story arc goes. But like the thing, Leo's story, I thought was just way too fast sped. I mean, we just get introduced to Duke Alfonso in last week's episode, and then immediately we start off the episode with him fighting Leo on the ship. And then yeah, okay, now granted, Leo's plan in the 3rd episode, that was a bit difficult. We did kind of return to season 1, if you will, with the out of the box idea, Leo building a submarine and sort of the unorthodox methods that he takes in order to put his plan into action. That I did like, but even some of those scenes, once again, like I said, the pacing's off. It was too fast spread. Lorenzo's scenes in episode 3, the dialogue was way off on those. And I would even say with Lorenzo, the scene, his first scene where we have, the little meeting with him, the head of the Medici banks, Clarice, Dragonetti, Da Vinci's dad, all of them. You know what I'm saying? When they had their little council meeting, I thought Lorenzo's dialogue was way off. Damn near almost out of character. And he's throwing around pageantry and speaking in ceremony when he really should be speaking plain, because everyone there is familiar to him. And then he starts issuing out idle threats and things like that. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then his scene with Clarice, which I thought was the better scene, and was actually one that I've been looking forward to seeing for a while. This sort of honest discourse taking place between Clarice and Lorenzo. I thought the scene overall was well done, but even Lorenzo and Clarice's dialogue, and that was too much exposition, too much of telling us what we already know. And that's why I say it's like something is not melding right with these last 2 episodes in regards to the premiere and in regards to the first season. Something is off. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it, or maybe there's something I'm not catching. But the mechanism just doesn't seem like it's flowing right in that regard. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Other thoughts in regards to these 2 episodes. Let me see. I do want to say I like Nico's scene in episode 2, and I like how it was sort of a brief foreshadowing of what we can expect to happen to Nico, and maybe some of the experiences that'll shape his worldview. Because for any historians out there, or anyone who brushes up on their history in terms of Niccolo Machiavelli. If you've read the Prince, he has a very specific worldview. Now, granted, you have historians, philosophers, educators, what have you, writers, journalists, take your pick, who have debated the Prince for years, centuries even, and rather, whether you consider Machiavelli's views as cynical or realistic, which I guess you could also say realistic or pessimistic, whether you consider his piece to be strictly satire or somewhat referential or whatever your argument may be, the truth of the matter is he does have a specific view in terms of politics, in terms of people, and I'll be interested to see if the writers use that in their arsenal, if they use that to their advantage in some of the future scenes that we'll see between Nico and Riario. If Riario is sort of becomes the archetype, the sort of the orchestrator, the embodiment of some of those views that Nico develops as he grows older, you know what I mean? So I'll be interested to see more of that. Now, for the most part, I think that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on episode 2. Final thoughts on episode 3. I thought the introduction of Lorenzo's half-uncle came completely out of left field, and I have absolutely no idea of where that will lead, what that could mean. Not a clue. Completely lost with that. And I find that the timing of his arrival to be suspicious, his demeanor to be a bit untrustworthy. He is an intriguing character, definitely, because he's shrouded in mystery. We want to know more about him, but I don't really know what to make of him yet. And I'm trying to think what else, if there's anything else in episode 3 I wanted to talk about. I think that might be it. I really don't, like I said, I really don't have too many thoughts on these 2 episodes. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I really have. So, that's going to wrap up this week's Da Vinci's Demons episode review. I want to thank you all for joining me again this week. In the comments below, let me know your thoughts both on episode 2 and episode 3. Let me know what you guys think of some of the events occurring right now in the series, some of the things I touched upon. But I'll be real interested to see, to hear you guys' thoughts on some of my, I guess you could say, some of my complaints about these 2 episodes. What do you guys think? I mean, am I the only one thinking these things, or do some of you guys have you guys been getting the same sense? I'll be very interested to see your responses. So, what to keep an eye out for? Well, wrapping up this week's videos is going to be my Game of Thrones season 4 episode 1 review. That's going up tomorrow night, and I'm not sure if I'll be doing my Captain America 2 The Winter Soldier review, if that'll be up either tomorrow morning or if I'll just wait until Monday to put that up. I'm not sure yet. I'll let you guys know. Keep an eye out for it. It's going to be out in the next couple of days regardless. So, we'll see what goes on with that. But with that being said, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, signing off. And until next time, peace.